Hey everyone, welcome back. It's your guy, Mr. PB, and today we're diving into the new and slightly confusing FrostWatcher Ultimate Weapon. If you're wondering whether it's worth your time to unlock and use, stick around as we break down the pros and cons. Let's get into it! The first thing I want to take a look at is the most important part of this weapon, the unique ability. There are 3 key buffs and debuffs to it. Fully enhanced, the perks are as follows. Cold Surveillance, applied by landing a critical hit from 12.5 meters, and the debuff can stack up to 3 times. You have a 100% chance to get this debuff upon a critical hit, thank God, but the crit rate on the weapon itself is abysmal at a base 6%. The perk is also written out a little weird, but to my understanding, and correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, at 1 stack you apply minus 15% chill resistance and 5% more per stack, capping at 3, giving you the potential for 25% chill resistance down for 7 seconds. Sub-Zero Sensation is applied on hitting a weak point of an enemy at 12.5 meters also, but the perk only has a 30% chance to proc, so the successful buff gives 32% additional chill skill power for 7 seconds. The third perk, Chill Synchronization, is only good for Hailey, giving a 3-second buff that ignores speed reduction from Hailey's third skill. The weapon stats have a base firearm attack at 45,777, nice. As far as the rest of the stats, they are just complete ass. 6% base crit hit rate, as I mentioned earlier, 1.8 times crit hit damage, and 1.35 times weak point damage with 21 rounds per magazine. We'll talk about why these are the stats I'm looking at, but let's just move on for now. In order to proc the unique abilities, we have to land a crit or get a weak point hit. This is just complete shit due to the crit rate being so low and the weak point multiplier being what it is. The rounds per magazine were pretty high, which gave me a decent idea, so let's get into the builds. I came up with the idea that I would initially make a Viessa and Hailey build since they benefit from the only good thing about this weapon. For Viessa, I focused on weak point damage, and for Hailey, I was focusing on getting that crit rate up because of her third skill. It felt guaranteed, but even then, it felt lackluster.
I wanted some extra damage out of the weapon itself, but it just wasn't there. So here are where the builds got to before I gave up on them. I finally accepted the damage I was going to get out of this gun was abysmal, and it was time to look at this in a different way. I leaned harder into the unique ability since both of the current chill characters can pretty much spam their skills, and this is where we ended up with this build for it. All I wanted was to hit weak points and hope I got crits, so I found it best to use as many crit rate mods as I could squeeze out and forget the damage entirely. I started out using Lethal Finish to get the crits, but even after landing 3 crits, I wasn't proccing the Sub-Zero Sensation buff that often due to the 30% proc chance. I want Sub-Zero Sensation over Cold Surveillance so I could use this in more situations, even though it's already hard doing it at 12.5 meters. That's kind of insane. I'm not playing that far with most characters, and when you're playing in a team, everybody's just rushing and running forward, so it makes the weapon kind of weird. What I did though, to guarantee it as much as possible, since there's very little time to aim and whatever, I upped the recoil and accuracy to stay laser focused on the weak point hits. That way I could have a high level of certainty that I would get the 32% chill skill power up while getting as many stacks of Cold Surveillance as possible. But even then it was rough. The fire rate is slow. It's as fast as Nazistra's Devotion and has a difference of 50 RPM from its competitor Blue Beetle, and to me this was a problem, so I moved Lethal Finish to Sharp Precision Shot since I know for a fact I'll be shooting at least 3 shots. This ended up working a lot better than expected since there were times I would get the Sub-Zero Sensation buff on my first shot. Not always, but it happens. And this allows you to continue shooting until you get another buff if you wanted to go for that full Cold Surveillance debuff as well. This was working well with the exception of running out of rounds in the mag. When running the FrostWatcher this way, you run out of ammo quickly, so at this point of build crafting, I accepted that I would not be getting high DPS out of the gun itself, so I removed any of the remaining damage mods and added magazine size. Now, everything added to this build at this point is focused on getting as much crit rate as possible, maintaining stability, and maximizing the ammo stack. That's the best way to get the damage out of it, to get the power, just focus on the unique ability. So is this gun really worth it? If you have faith in your aim, hitting weak points from 12.5 meters away and getting 3 to 5 shots out before recasting your skill and keeping that rotation going while moving, this thing's amazing. But that's a really hard thing to do consistently, and even more so with the team, you know? If you just want to hang out and play casually, this gun's going to take a lot of practice. So my final thoughts on the weapon: you will get significantly more damage focusing on adding the 32% chill skill to your already beefed descendant abilities, and minus 25% chill resistance than any amount of build crafting you think you can do on this weapon. Like, I saw a video that was like 1.3 million DPS. Suck a fucking dog. No way, that's terrible. So you will get significantly more damage just focusing on the abilities. If you use this on Viessa, you need a good amount of ability range, since you will only be triggering the FrostWatcher from 12.5 miles away. You know what I mean, meters. I would use Absolute Zero as the go-to build paired with the FrostWatcher for her. For Hailey, you don't receive the chill skill power bonus when using her fourth skill, meaning this weapon will primarily be used for mobbing. You can also use the payout ultimate mod in place of sharp precision shot on Hailey, so you can get those extra shots off on her fourth ability after applying that minus 25% chill resistance. But to see the benefit of the FrostWatcher on Hailey, you should stick to using her second ability as well in that rotation, you know, Frost Snare. It's sick. You can do a huge hit in that cooldown period when you have all of the buffs stacked, and that'll hit like, I don't even know. I didn't care to test it. My Hailey's just perfect how she is. I made a fun build though for this, that her Frost Snare cooldown is at 5 seconds. It does allow you to shoot the FrostWatcher, use Frost Snare, and then burst your FrostWatcher and hope you proc Sub-Zero Sensation again in the 2-second downtime you have before using Frost Snare again. So I'll put that up on the screen, but yeah, when I keep that rotation going, then this gun's an amazing addition to Hailey, and it's a lot of fun. Let me know what you think in the comments. This gun, I guess if I have to give it a rating out of 10, I would, in its current state, give it a 6.5, maybe a 7 out of 10. If you want to see the Hailey build that I've been flexing, I'll be dropping my Hailey builds in another video. I was going to go over it in this one, but the focus is the FrostWatcher, so if you like that, I'll link it at the end once that's done. Otherwise, keep an eye out, subscribe, hit the bell, you know what to do. Take care and have a great day, my fellow descendants.